our capitalist society, it's a common belief that when you buy things like furniture, clothing, and even electronics, you need the latest, the greatest, and buying any of these things used is unacceptable. But if we're being honest, times have changed. In the year of 2024, many people are experiencing their bills, groceries, and everyday essentials taking a huge chunk out of their wallets, which basically leaves little, next to no room for extra income to get brand new products that cost a fortune. But what if I told you that instead of buying the latest and greatest smartphone, you can still get a phone that's damn near the exact same for a fraction of the price? And no, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything, but I want all of us to break out of the habit of thinking newer is always better. Because when you look at the grand picture of everything, it's basically not. See, older phones are now like homes, or even a glass of wine. The more time that passes, the more that phone goes up in value. Every single time a new phone comes out, the upgrades are so microscopic that it led me to question whether or not it's even worth it to keep up with the Joneses and get a new phone, or just keep my old phone that gives me the same productivity and features. And that's why I really appreciate a phone like the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Not only does it have damn near the exact same build as the S24 Ultra, but it also gives me the same battery performance, same quality pictures and videos, identical processing power that can run the same power-hungry apps, and the same software complemented with features that were initially only on the S24 Ultra. And if you pair that with the fact that it's also a cheaper price, then I think that it's safe to say that buying a phone like the Galaxy S23 Ultra in 2024 is a no-brainer. And that's why I wanted to share my experience with the Galaxy S23 Ultra after almost 2 years of use to basically rest my case on why older phones are the way to go. Now, one of the most important factors of longevity within a smartphone is durability. And fortunately, this is a department where the S23 Ultra excelled in. The S23 Ultra will be getting OS and security updates until 2027, which is a solid 3 more years of having this phone up to date. And this is pretty great since it allows many more years of use. But the S24 Ultra does have 4 more years worth of support, so the extra money you spend will take you farther. But despite being outclassed in the realm of software updates, when it comes to durability, my S23 Ultra has been able to look brand new despite the heavy use over the past 2 years. There's Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and back, and this, accompanied with the matte texture glass and aluminum frame with the stainless steel feel, gave it great depth. And getting a better look at it, we can see that the glass and aluminum finish isn't accompanied by any major scratches or bumps. On the front, there is a bit of wear and tear on the screen, but it's not visible unless you look really close. And I have an extremely small scratch on the bottom due to dropping it on the pavement, but this still didn't stop my S23 Ultra from looking new. And going further into durability, the S23 Ultra is also IP68 dust and water resistant, just like the S24 Ultra. So if you're ever at the beach, water park, or you just drop your phone in the water by accident, the S23 Ultra will withstand any type of liquid or sand. And aesthetic was another field where the S23 Ultra was able to excel in. Compared to the S24 Ultra, the S23 Ultra still has that very boxy build, but also knew when to implement its rounded frame. The teardrop edges mixed with that box shape was very smooth. The S24 Ultra had a similar shape that negated any type of roundness, while the S23 Ultra was much more inviting to it. As you can see right here, the S23 Ultra has a more sleek look that has more depth, while the S24 Ultra stays more true to that boxy flat screen TV look. But other than that, the S23 Ultra feels damn near the same. It's still very big, the display is curved, which results in smaller bezels and a better aesthetic, and the S23 Ultra feels slightly heavier than the S24 Ultra, which really adds to its premium feel. And now when it comes to display, this might sound crazy when you hear it, but Samsung is one of the only companies where their last generation phone is still considered to be one of the best when compared to newer devices. The S23 Ultra still has more vibrancy, it still is bigger with less bezels, and it still kicks both of their asses when it comes to crack and scratch resistance. And it also has the fastest fingerprint sensor in the market. I tested the fingerprint sensor on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and I also tested the fingerprint sensor on the S23 Ultra, and it was easily comparable in terms of speed and accuracy. Now, going deeper into the list of ways that the S23 Ultra's display is still top tier, it has a quad HD 1440p display that has easily given me some of the best visual experiences. You can see that the colors are slightly more stronger, And in my opinion, it has a better viewing experience. Compared to the S24 Ultra, the resolution is the exact same, and the bezels on the S23 Ultra are thinner, which can look a little bit better, but the S24 Ultra also does have the anti-reflective coating, which is definitely a major difference when it comes to color. The S23 Ultra has slightly more brighter colors, while the S24 Ultra's colors are slightly more dark and rich, but most people won't pay attention to this, so from the naked eye, they still look the exact same. So now that we've talked about how the Galaxy S23 Ultra has damn near dominated every category when it comes to longevity, the battery is definitely where it dominated the most. And I've always said that the best part about the Ultra series is not only do they have long-lasting batteries, but they also charge very quickly. The S23 Ultra supports 45-watt fast charging, which means not only will it go from 0 to 100 in under an hour, but you will get 50% charge in half an hour, which is very convenient after a year and a half of usage. And I feel like my Galaxy S23 Ultra has been one of the most consistent phones that I've used in the past 5 years. I mainly use my S23 Ultra for gaming now, and I still find it to run them as smoothly as the first day I got it. And other than that, I mainly use my S23 Ultra for social media, texting, replying to emails, and even taking some photography shots. I'm ending my days with over 35% battery, which is enough even if I work late into the night. I never used power saving mode since the 120Hz is a must for me, and I never held back when it came to battery. A couple of minor things that also took a chunk out of my battery was the fact that I always had my always on display on, my brightness was always on medium to high, and I never tried to cut any corners. Now, performance has always been a strong suit of the Galaxy S23 Ultra, not only in terms of how it plays power heavy apps, but also being able to do it for a long period of time. I also wanted to show you guys just how great the Snapdragon Gen 2 chip is holding up. In Call of Duty Mobile, I usually run the best settings since I know that the S23 Ultra can take it. And as you can see right here, there's no lag, the frame rate is consistent, and playing the most power heavy games is something that the S23 Ultra will not shy away from. Even more light games like Asphalt 9 were able to do well. It looks and feels the exact same in terms of performance and visual experience. So what about camera? Well, I think that the best way to show you guys how good the S23 Ultra's camera is holding up is to compare it to different phones that are also top tier in this category, like my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, looking at selfies, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is better in my opinion, but the S23 Ultra was still able to hold its own. The colors were vibrant, the sharpness was there, and the depth of blur was good. But I felt like the 15 Pro Max captured my skin tone more accurately and made my face look better. Now, comparing night photos, the S23 Ultra was better in this category. It had more sharpness, more artificial lighting, it was brighter, and I think that it overall just took better photos. Going more into comparisons with the 15 Pro Max, the outside pictures between both were very tough. They both took great shots. They both had many great attributes. But if I had to choose, I'm picking the Galaxy S23 Ultra as a slight winner because I just preferred those in terms of brightness and contrast. Even inside photos were extremely tough, but again, if I had to choose, I would say that the iPhone 15 Pro Max handled interior shots with a little bit more realism, and they weren't as filter looking as the S23 Ultra. Now, comparing the video shooting capabilities, I found that the Galaxy S23 Ultra's performance falls below the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I believe that the quality of the videos is great. However, there are some instances where the autofocus struggles with lighting, leading to many issues. Nevertheless, the video stabilization is reliable, offering numerous creative modes for users to explore. But an aspect that I did find bothersome with the camera is that it does tend to lighten my skin tone. And out of curiosity, while there are superior alternatives, the performance of the Galaxy S23 Ultra stabilization is commendable. So in conclusion, the Galaxy S23 Ultra boasts a formidable camera that consistently delivers high quality pictures, effective stabilization, and a wide array of shooting options for both videos and photos. And to sum up my thoughts on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, it's essentially the same phone as the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And for those deciding between the S23 and S24 Ultra, if you want to save money while still getting a top tier phone, go with the S23 Ultra. Because as tech has been making some minor improvements, the tech behind it is not that far behind. Peace.